It's time to wake up. Halloween is about to start. With lots of stories about ghouls being torn apart. When it comes to Joanne, no, you won't find no faults. But if you mess with a bull, you might get the Schulz. It's time for Mornin. It's Mornin with Bill and Joe. It's time for Mornin. It's gonna be a trick or treat show. It's Bill and Joe.
Hello and welcome to Mornin. I'm Joe.
I'm not Joe.
Oh, welcome everybody. What a beautiful week. Happy October. Today really feels like fall in New York City. It feels like kind of spooky. The vibes are gray.
Oh yeah, I'm in New Jersey right now, not to brag. And it's always better when you're not in New Jersey, despite being born here. But also, it's actually, I'm not that far away. It's like sunny and nice here.
Oh, well,
I'm
maybe
like half
it
an hour
will.
away.
Maybe it will sort of move its way toward New York. I think it is supposed to get sunny here later, which would be nice. I might take a walk.
Your nails look pretty.
Thank you. It's a nice burgundy color for those who are only listening.
See, I would assume someone like you would call it Merlot.
Actually, I think the actual color of the nail polish is like wined up, like wine, like the alcoholic beverage.
Yes.
But that's one of the nice things about not bartending is that I can paint my nails and they don't chip. So,
sure.
Yeah, I've been taking advantage.
Well, where are we at as far as what I can and cannot ask you about your latest gig? Because I still have so many questions, but so much of it is still top secret.
It's not top secret anymore, I guess. I don't know. It was never top secret. I just was waiting to get my official binder, which I got.
Ooh.
And I did an Instagram post. So
of course, I didn't see that.
I am the understudy for the play Walden, which is written by Amy Berryman, directed by Whitney White. It's a stunning play. It will be produced at Second Stage, their off-Broadway theater in New York City. And I am the understudy. It's a 3-person play. It's 2 women and 1 man, and I am understudying both female tracks. So I basically had to memorize the whole play,
Ooh.
which I'm fully memorized. Like I thought...
I have to give, as much as I hate doing it, I have to give you credit. That's just something I would never be able to do. I don't like, I can't memorize my phone number. I don't understand how that works.
You know, I think it is a muscle. And whenever I was sort of getting overwhelmed or being like, is this even possible? I would think about, isn't there a study or it's just scientific fact that says we only use about 3% of our brain?
Yes, something like that.
Yeah, something outrageous. So I was like, what, my brain is capable of more than I think. So, well, yeah, who knows? I'm only using 2%. So I'm finally getting up to the 3. But yeah, so I've been really working on that. It's just a wonderful opportunity. I've been obsessed with this play for years. Basically, the plot, it takes place in the future, but like not the so distant future. But climate change is really affecting the planet to the point where we are looking for somewhere else to go to save humanity. So it's twin sisters are the 2 female parts. They spent their whole lives training to be astronauts. Their father was an astronaut. And when they were doing their tests, one sister failed. She failed the test for the body, like the zero gravity, Barry chamber, like kind of stuff. So she didn't get to go to space, but one did. She went to the moon to set up a habitat there. And so it's now a year later and they have reconnected. And so the play is them seeing each other after a year of like not talking and just seeing where their lives are at now. So it's a really great conversation about family, about dreams, about failure, but also about like our planet and the future, but it's not preachy. That's what I love about this. It's not like there's an obvious goal with writing this play to make the audience leave feeling this way or being educated. It's not preachy at all. So I think lots of people will enjoy it. You should get your tickets.
I will be once I get the Douglas update on who and which part you're taking over. Now, let's pretend that this is the variety actor on actors, although pretend I'm an actor. But how did you approach the sister who went to space versus the sister who was not able to go to space?
Yeah, both are grieving different things. So there's commonality in that. The one sister who went to space is grieving the fact that she didn't get to do it with her sister. And I think she has a little bit of regret and shame there too that she went without her. And then the one who didn't go, obviously, it's this idea of I trained my whole life for this and now it's never going to happen. So how do I come to terms with that? So, sure, they're different, but they're also very similar and they're twins. And luckily, I won't ever have to play both parts at the exact same time. So it's okay if I view them similarly.
Not to mention the fact that that would be almost too much for your little brain to comprehend. The idea of two of you is obviously your number one dream. More of you in the world.
Yeah.
Was this written after the fact that one of the of the two twins, one of whom almost became our vice president nominee, one of them went into space for like a year and the other twin stayed down here, and then the scientists measured the differences between the two twins? Was it written after that and
Well,
based on that whole?
that is a big part of it. I don't know exactly when this was written in timeline wise with when that happened, but they do discuss that. Like, hey, yeah, you can't go to space, but since we're identical, do you want to, be the control to see how microgravity affects my body?
Right.
It Yeah, it is interesting how, God, we're around gravity all the time, and I never think about it really. How it how it affects me. I really
This should
don't.
be in your playbill bio. I never even think about gravity. Anyway, that's it.
Which, by the way, I had to submit already my bio for the playbill, which I haven't written one in so long, and I didn't know what to put. They said there was an 80-word limit, so I submitted it to my agent, and I was like, "I'll take suggestions." I wrote 40 words. It was only 40 words.
That's what they
And then he
want.
was like, "Yeah, you might want to thank this person or this person. You should also maybe put your film and TV credits on there too."
Oh
I
yeah.
just did I didn't put anything. But a part of me really wanted to do, because I was looking at examples online, and some of these actors are super witty, or they have a fun joke, or they have something meaningful in there. So it would have been so cool if I was any of those things, and I included a fun bit. But I'm going to be authentically myself, and that's not me.
Boring is what you're saying. Gotcha.
Pretty
Gotcha.
much,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, that's pretty exciting. Does this all take place on one set in one period of time?
Yeah, it takes place on one set, which is a home in the wilderness. And
Hence
then,
Walden.
yes, named Walden, which the significance to Walden's Pond is explained within the play.
I was wondering about that.
It takes place over 2-ish days. And then the last act is almost a year later.
I wonder
So,
if between the 2 days, one day represents where one of the twins is coming from, where the other 24 hours represents a day that is more like the other twin.
oh, I I don't think so. I
You don't think?
appreciate your provocative question, but no.
This is why. Do you think I should just send this entire video to Variety's editorial department? I think if they saw the hard hitting questions I just did as far as the process is concerned, I'm editor in chief.
It's so sweet that you think Variety will see in their inbox an email from you and they will stop everything to read it. Gosh, you've really
I don't
gained a
know
lot
why
of
that's
confidence.
sweet, but I guess thank you. But yeah, so they will. And you're looking at the new EIC. It's cool. Speak for editor in chief, baby.
Oh, is that what they call them?
Yeah.
Huh. So that's what's been going on with me. Bill, you had your first walking tour
Yeah.
with the Bowery Boys
Boy,
in
it took a
Turtle
while.
Bay.
Mm-hmm.
How did that go?
I hope okay. We had 2 cancellations at the last minute, so it went from 9 to 7, which
Okay.
was almost too much for the first time. Older crowd. I don't necessarily think that they were fully getting my jokes, apart from one that I think I told you, originally from outside of London, and she was feeling me. She was my only good audience member. And then the rest seemed tired, as if they'd been traveling for a while. But they stuck with me for the whole tour, so I guess that's good.
So they were all tourists?
Yeah, one of them lived outside of New York and was having friends in from town. And you always got to worry about them because they might know more than you.
Yeah.
And I mean, $80 tips. I don't know if that's good or not. So,
And
um,
are you paid hourly or how does that work?
no, I'm paid. I've got to look this up. I have to invoice at the end of the month. This is not interesting. And then I get a percentage of how many people are there per their it's $40 ticket, which
Oh, okay.
is a lot. And so then I invoice that at the end of the month for all of that. So the tips are important, but yeah, I really want them to give me a bunch more, but so far it's just 2 upcoming. We'll see if that changes.
So
But
if anyone listening is going to be in New York City and wants to go on, gosh, the only incredible Turtle Bay tour,
thanks for remembering the name.
where can they get tickets?
They can go on Bowery Boys and tours, and then I'm doing one on the 19th or 16th. I gotta look that up, and then another one on the 1st of November. Which again, I want to do more. I need to find out how people may be able to ask for that. But then again, there's always remember I freelance a lot of these tours as well. So if you're interested in sort of a bespoke one, perhaps even downtown, please contact me on all the social medias. Actually, Twitter would probably be the best. And we could perhaps make something happen.
Yeah, but also remember too, supply demand. So sell out these 2 tours and then maybe you'll get more.
And fingers crossed. And it's also, this is a very foot trafficy area of New York, and I really need to make sure I have the right times where it's less so, because the fear is always, the big fear is they ask a bunch of questions you don't have answers for. And the second, of course, is don't lose a person on your walk. That's a big one.
Oh man, you need one of those like little flags that you hold up so
I'm
people
looking. Yeah,
can
there's.
see you.
I have some ideas on that, but yeah. So that's my boringness. I saw. I still want you to see the Vince McMahon thing on Netflix. It's just astonishing, but How to Rob a Bank, I believe it's called, right up your alley. I'm halfway through it right now. It is so bizarre. One of the most prolific Seattle bank robbers. They called him Hollywood because of his propensity for many different disguises that he would wear during these things. That in Point Break apparently inspired him in the early to mid 90s. And it is so weird. At the back, everything, and they're good about not giving away too much as you watch. So go in blind, but it's right up your alley.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll add it to my list. I'm still working on Dexter and now Love is Blind. Such a strange combination of things I watch.
It's very you.
But if I'm not watching TV, I'm on TikTok.
Nice seg.
This is a little TikTok people.
She's getting better and better at this, people.
So this is for all my true crime fans. I know there's at least 2 other of you.
I'm becoming one.
This, if you have been on TikTok at all, you have seen it, or social media, you have heard about this woman, you have seen this stuff. TikTok user goes viral for finding I always say this word wrong, buried. It's a buried rug. I wanted to say buried. A buried rug. I always say it wrong.
I can't make fun of you because it's like me and I have to think about it, hyperbole, because I always, in my mind, it's like some sort of mental flaw. If I don't think about it, I say hyperbole.
Hyperbole, yes,
Which
of course.
sounds like a Super Bowl for spazzy kids.
Aw.
Yeah. Welcome
Everyone's a
to the
winner.
Hyperbole.
This user, Katie Santry, she's an Ohio resident. She found a buried rug in her yard, sparking a police investigation. So here's how it all unfolded,
Oh,
okay?
God.
She lives in this house. She's been in this house for about a year. She and her husband are putting in a fence on their property. So they were digging holes to put posts in. And she found what appeared to be about 2 feet down a rolled up rug. There's
Ew.
like tassels on the end, or so it would seem. And so she sort of thought nothing of it until that night something happened in her. She has sort of like a sunroom porch. It's a built-in sort of covered porch where she has her office. So a laptop, all of her stuff. She comes down in the morning. Her laptop screen is shattered. Her desk is kind of in disarray. There are kids in the house, but they swore they like never got up. They didn't know anything about it. So she joked on TikTok, maybe it's the ghost of whoever's in that rug buried underground, haunting me. And everyone on TikTok is like, what? What rug? What is going on? So she's showing the rug and people are like, you got to dig that up. There might be a body in there because there was a tree planted on top. And so she contacts police because people on TikTok are like, you really should call the police. Police come look at it. They're like, it's strange, but there isn't like an open homicide case where we could connect this to something. So we can't use resources on that right now.
Okay.
But people on TikTok, this is really gaining traction. And then soon after, Homicide calls her and says, we're actually going to come and send cadaver dogs to sniff it out. I'm assuming because of the high profileness of her TikToks that they were like, we should do something. So the dogs come. It's 2 different dogs. They both signal that there are human remains. Both dogs sit down.
Amazing.
So now this woman is getting really freaked out. She like live streamed the dogs there. She has gone from like a few thousand followers to over 1 million followers very quickly. Everyone has their theories. The next day, crime scene investigators, homicide, all these departments, tons of men come. A lot of men, I didn't see any women, come with an excavator to dig up, to get this carpet out, see if there are remains. And fortunately and unfortunately, there's nothing there.
Wow.
It's just a rug. Or so they tell her. They took the rug as evidence to, I guess, be processed in a lab, forensics, who knows? There are people who are experts or no experts who say they wouldn't take that into evidence if there wasn't evidence of a crime that was committed. Maybe there aren't bones in that rug or human remains in that rug, but it might be nearby. Some people are saying, why would these dogs both sit? Why would they both point out this spot if there's nothing there? And one person said that they think that there was something, the cops found something, but they won't tell this woman because now it's an active investigation. And she has been chit-chatting all over TikTok. And so if they're trying to find the person responsible for this, she could be cluing them into what police are finding and offer them sort of, a way out. So
interesting.
Yeah, it is fascinating. The whole true crime aspect I love, obviously, but also this is a really interesting sort of example of groupthink or the popularity on TikTok, the psychology of these trends. Because I'm curious how many followers of hers now will fall off, how she'll keep this momentum going. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm obsessed. I want more.
Yeah, here are the 2 winners in this. One, of course, her, for all the followers she now has through all of this. And 2, her kids who broke her laptop and now have a complete out as this progresses as far as their crap excuse of not doing it is concerned. That would be my thought. But
so no thought of yours is ghosts, none at all.
You know, it's so funny. We have cameras everywhere now. And in every nook and cranny of our house, if there's a motion detector, it'll turn on to make sure you don't have a prowler. And yet, still not more evidence of ghosts when stuff like this happens. I'm assuming, obviously, they didn't have a camera in the room where the laptop broke. But you'd think, were there all this ghost activity? There's plenty of places in America where, like, a ghost was just throw a coffee cup or something like that, and it'd be on camera. And yet, still, there's so few and far between.
Well, okay, those cameras are expensive, Bill.
Okay. Yes.
Also,
And ghosts only haunt poor people. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Poorness makes ghosts angry. So that's when you get the most action.
Good point. I think it was a deleted scene of Ghostbusters. I don't know if you're aware, but poverty just makes them furious.
Wouldn't it make you furious?
Yeah, I'm not the ghost. I'm just me. Also, why am I haunted? My place was built in 1921. It used to be an all-women's hotel. That in of itself, I'm sure, has got some stories. And I'm poor. So, where's my ghost?
How many murders do you think happened in that building of yours?
Oh, a lot. And I've talked to some of the older locals at Turtle Bay. I should add this to my tour, actually. And they were like, yeah, I think it was back in the day an all-female hotel. And ironically enough, that whole point of that was because they were worried that if a single woman was just going into a regular hotel to check a room, that they somehow were a prostitute. I mean, that was the 20s, so they could only go into all women hotels. But then ironically enough, these locals tell me that, it became a brothel. Like, it was known to be at my place. So there's some stories. I've been too lazy to research, but I should. And so then, therefore, you would think that the place is indeed haunted. I've lived there for a long time. I have yet to see any evidence of this, but maybe it's happening. I don't want to because I can't afford another laptop. And it seems that's what they're going for.
Yeah, see, I'm not as fascinated with the ghost stories of it all. I'm more like, Bill, what evidence of crimes is hidden in that building of yours? Like, who had a murder weapon and they lifted up a floorboard
Oh,
and they
yeah.
put it underneath? Even in my building, I live in a pre-war building in Astoria, and I don't think about murder as much, but I do think about, I am convinced that there is like gold or money
Yes, I think about that all the time. Yeah.
in the walls or the floors, because especially where I am, it was and still is a lot of immigrant families, a lot of people who I like to think were protective of their money,
Didn't
right?
trust
They
the
weren't
bank.
sure what was going to come next. They wanted to have it with them ready to go. So they needed to store it somewhere safe. And the floorboards are like the safest place.
Ugh, I got to get a metal detector. You're really
I know.
inspiring me here. Although with my luck, I destroy my floorboards and like inside is like a tin cup that the metal detector discovered rather than all this hordes and hordes of valuable coins.
Yeah. Or just like beer bottle caps or something.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. But that is, something that they were talking about with this woman in Ohio with her yard. People are like, we think the remains are actually under the deck, which is right next to this hole where you found the rug. And it's like, okay, at what point do you stop? Like, there are people on TikTok who just want her to get this deck up, destroy her yard. And that's expensive. I mean, she's probably making a good amount of money now on TikTok with these videos, so she could afford it. But like, that is such an inconvenience.
There's also people on TikTok that are extremely aware of exactly where she lives now and are just waiting for her to tweet at some point that she's on vacation. And you know what? If my money woes continue, I might be one of those people. Junior burglary, here I come.
Yeah, or I worry about just little shits coming onto my yard, putting, it's almost Halloween, putting like a skeleton piece in the hole. It's like, how did the cops miss this?
Dead raccoon in a smaller rug. Bury that in her yard. Have the dogs come back and find that.
Okay, you took that farther. Dead raccoon?
Maybe
You're
edit
talking
that
about
out.
fake bones.
Well, yeah, but the dogs won't smell the fake bones.
But speaking of raccoons in TikTok, there's someone I see on this app often. She like feeds these raccoons. She feeds this family of
How I feel about that.
raccoons who live now like in her home, like essentially on the top beams
It's
of
Grey
her
Garden
deck.
shit right there. If you ever saw that documentary, the aunt or the cousin of
Grey
Jack.
Gardens?
Yeah, like the raccoons just lived in the floorboards, and they come out in the house and eat these giant loaves of bread that they'd feed them, and they're just feeding it to them like they're that they're just putting another log in the fire or something. It's that casual, and then this horrible creature, as all raccoons are, just comes out and and by the way, how dare you bring this up when I'm at my folks' place so I can't use my little raccoon puppets to act the whole thing out? Those are
I know,
really nice raccoons.
that is a shame. Finger
I'm sorry,
puppet.
I know you're sick of it, but I'm going to do my PSA. People, when you feed raccoons, whether it be in Central Park, which disgusts me, or anywhere in suburbia during the day, they slowly but surely become not nocturnal, and then therefore we can't differentiate the ones that have rabies and they stop being nocturnal because they have rabies versus the ones that are just hungry. You're making everything worse for everyone. And someone's going to die of rabies because you fed them. Period.
Yeah. That's a great PSA.
Thank you. I worked hard on it. Actually, no, it was right off the top of my head because I didn't know you were going to mention raccoons. You know what's not off the top of my head? I've had this for so long, and you're so excited to do it. Every week, there's a different story on a dick pic a celebrity has sent out unsolicited, advice from women who've received unsolicited ones on how to best approach the situation. One was by the name of Jana Hawking, and she wrote a first-person essay for, I'm sure it's the Post, it is, with regards to the fact that, I'll just read the story, and then she also printed a back and forth between her and this dude. And you guys, we're going to make it better. Jo's been talking about all this acting she's been doing. Let's see how good she really is. First, I'll give you the setup here. So this is per Jana Hawking. She said, earlier this month, I got a creepy email from a stranger with a subject title stating, check your Insta. Wow. The body of the email said, could you please rate since you're a guru? I instantly had a gut feeling about what it would be. A dick pic. Instagram DMs said it had a message saying Jana with 3 exclamation points, and it was accompanied by a graphic of an image of his genitalia in a bath, his hand clutching his thin woody woodpecker proudly between his legs in knee-deep water. Dudes. Oh, and some very distinct leg tattoos.
Oh.
And then she put in parentheses, rookie error, you should never send nude pics with details that can identify you. I clicked on his Instagram account, and sure enough, it was a business account for custom-made motorbikes. And it had
Is there any other kind of motorbike? Come on.
Valid. And it had his mobile number. Jackpot. Oof. I took a screenshot of his email and posted it to my Instagram with a caption saying, so I looked, and yep, it's a dick pic. And yes, he hunted down my email as well. Please feel free to send, I tagged his full Instagram name here, a middle finger emoji from me. Not today, Satan. Within minutes, he sent me desperate DMs begging me to take down the post. And so now, Jo, it's ladies' choice. You can either do a Will Joanne Say It or an Anything You Can Do. Both apply. We are now going to act out the back and forths between this predator and this poor woman. I, of course, as a true auteur, will be playing the aggrieved woman, while Jo, who's just a little piglet, will be playing the dude that gave her this unsolicited pic of his junk. I'm ready when you are.
Great.
Please, take it down. Sorry, I will compensate you for my stupidity.
In parentheses, then he sent me a video of his bank account. I kid you not.
I thought you were a free spirit.
How dare you send me something disgusting? I didn't ask for it.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I thought you were a free spirit.
Don't ever send a woman a picture of your penis.
I just thought you were a free spirit, Jana. Okay, I hear you.
It's sexual harassment.
Okay, true. Please take it down. Always seen your stories and thought you were a free spirit.
Third time
Missed it by a long shot.
I don't want compensation. I want women to stop being harassed by creeps like, yeah.
I missed the free spirit memo. He keeps saying free spirit. It's so weird.
It's a tick.
I missed the free spirit memo by a long shot. Please take down your story, and I promise I won't send anything like that to you again.
You keep saying free spirits, and it's not about being a free spirit. It's about not wanting to be sexually harassed on Instagram or Emma.
I'm misjudged by a million miles. I'm a business owner, and this will ruin me. Please, I'm only 24 years old.
Say sorry, and you will never send a woman an unconsenting dick pic.
Sorry, I will never send a woman an unconsenting pic again. Thank you, and sorry, Jana.
I'm taking it down and blocking you. Now kindly fuck off.
Thank you. I apologize. You don't know how much you've saved me in my business. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And with that, I blocked him and took down the post. Upon reflection, was I slightly tired, hormonal, and due for my period? Yes. Do I regret it? Absolutely not. Jana Hawking is a columnist and collector of kind of boyfriends. You can learn more about her at Jana_Hawking. See.
Beautiful. Nice work, Bill.
Nice work, Joe.
Thank you.
Did she do the right thing? Was there other things she could do? What was your thoughts of this situation overall, which is just running rampant all over Western culture?
Yeah. So, first off, if I'm ever sent anything like that, I don't even know about it. Because if I'm getting a message from someone I don't know with a link or an attachment, I think either A, it's a dick pic, or B, I'm going to get hacked. I'm going to click on a link and they're going to somehow get my social security number and my routing number and write themselves checks. So I just avoid it all. So the fact that she even entertained that, I think is the first misstep.
Right.
If she kept getting emails from this guy, she couldn't avoid it anymore, then maybe. But for this sort of being a one-off, it's still wrong, but it's also like there's so much shit flying around you everywhere in the world. You can't stop and be righteous about everything. So I don't feel bad for this guy that she blew up his spot. I think that's well deserved.
Mm-hmm.
At first, when I read the exchange, I thought he was a bot. The way he formulated his responses, the constant use of free spirit, and sort of the phrasing he would use, missed it by a long shot, missed it by a mile. It just felt not like a 24-year-old who has motorbikes. You know what I mean?
Remember, he's selling motorbikes, not offering up freelance editing.
That's fair.
You know, I don't think that profession requires you to have a huge vocabulary.
Yeah. But Bill, what do you think? Did Jana go too far by blowing up his spot, or do you think she could have gone further?
No, and I thought it deserved. One thing I have found in my old age is when I don't think I necessarily railed against prostitution. I think it should be legal, blah, 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 blah. But I never really got it. And I would find sometimes talking about how I just never got the idea of getting a prostitute to friends of mine that I would later find out have done this. And then I have since censored myself. Lately, it is the same with dick pics. Never gotten it. I suppose if there's a woman out there that actually enjoys getting them, A, good for you. But B, sure, then the guy should, I guess, do that. I still think that then they've got something on you should the relationship go pear-shaped. It just doesn't seem to me like to be a good idea, period. Although, ladies, always and everywhere, please, flood us with your nudes. That's a different matter altogether. But I have now kind of had to shut up on that because it is to such a surprising degree. So many of my friends, I hope solicited, not unsolicited, have done the dick pic thing. But it's a phenomenon that just does not compute for me.
I think it's just evolved with technology. Remember all of those naked trench coat men?
Yes, that's a
Maybe
good point.
you don't personally remember them, but
I was them. I'm fine with that.
you know, it's this idea of, yeah, men just wanting to be little shits to women, just to like scare them or get the attention. There's the thrill of the being naughty, of the harassing. And this is just the newer version of that. Although I have to imagine it's not nearly as satisfying as wearing a trench coat and getting a nice breeze when you open it up.
Did you ever see Bowfinger?
No.
Oh, it holds up. It's Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy. Come on, you know. But
Okay.
Eddie Murphy's character may or may not have some problems with regard to that. He's playing a very famous actor, and he liked going to the Staples Centers to Laker games with his trench coat and like a kind of a disguise to show. And like every time he'd do it, there'd be people at the Lakers game, like in the food court, and the girls would just go. Start laughing at it, and he'd be like, "It's not funny," and then kind of run off. And it's a very good movie, and those scenes in particular. Mwah. But to that end, I think in this guy's case, I edited the story down to make it digestible for everyone, which is a weird thing to say on stories about dick pics.
Yeah.
But she does say repeatedly that this guy does not have anything to write home about. I go to Brett. I've unfortunately seen Brett Favre's dick pic that he sent unsolicited to a member of the Jets team. And not only is it not at full mast, but it is so not anything to write home about. And also you can see him wearing Crocs below it as he's just sort of holding it. It seems to me that a lot of the people that do these unsolicited ones somehow suffer under the impression that what they've got is a lot better than in actuality what it is. I don't know if that's part of the psychosis.
Or, it's not a premeditated dick pic.
That's impossible.
Yeah, well, no, because I think if it were, right, you would make sure you weren't wearing Crocs or they were just not in the picture. You would have, a small soda can for size nearby. Like there would be
airplane bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, so there has to be something that's. I'm now getting so into the psychology of it.
Have you ever gotten one? Period.
Have I?
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think so. Because
you would remember.
Yeah, me saying, let me try to remember. No, I think that would be seared into my brain.
Right.
But yeah, it's just got to be thrilling, like throwing a brick off of a bridge.
See, that's just you being an absolute sociopath who may or may not have some bodies out there wrapped in a rug.
It's just like, will this land? Will this brick or this dick pic land? I don't know.
Oh, man.
Who will this land on? I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, just one more thing.
Oh, please.
Because we didn't talk about it last week because we had the beautiful Mike Baker on.
Yes.
And I thought it would be wrong to talk about one of your crushes, Bill, in front of another crush. So Kotb is leaving, hence your mug, the Today Show. She announced it, I think it's now like 2 weeks ago. She just turned 60 and she will be leaving the network. But here's the thing. She's saying it's just time. She wants to move on to other ventures, spend more time with her mom and her kids.
Ugh.
But it might also have to do with the fact, and Bill, you might have a little insight into this. I don't know what you can share because you know someone who works at the network. NBC apparently proposed to cut her $20 million salary. So.
To keep her?
No. Like they weren't going to give her more money or she was going to have to take a pay cut. And she was like, nope, I'm out. Allegedly. So this is just rumors, I think, unless I haven't looked back into it. There might be updates.
I did not know that part. And I will
viewership is down.
Soon.
In 2014, Today averaged 4.672 million viewers. This month, so 10 years later, the show averaged 2.5 million, despite narrowly beating rivals at other networks. So viewership is down. And I do get it, Bill. These anchors get paid so much money. But at some point, it's like, well, how do we keep going? You're just going to have to keep paying them more and more every year. Like we're going to hit a wall at some point.
I think we're
And
hitting that
also,
wall.
if I were Hoda Kotb and I mean, they work her. She works so many hours. She has a podcast. She does all of this stuff.
Right.
To then just not be seeing more return, that's got to be tough. And I don't know. I respect her. I love her. I'll be interested to see who might replace her. I don't know. She'll still be on the show through, I think she said January.
Yes.
Bill, I might leave you. If they want me to join on, I would.
I would, but just like make me your personal assistant or something. I just need something. Sure. Yeah. I feel like you'd enjoy ordering me around, and I would enjoy doing a really bad job and spitting in your coffee when you weren't looking. But by the way, at the very least, I'd be spitting in a delightful Today Show mug. That would be your personal one that you'd have right there on set. I get to see you doing this. For first timers or new to the overall morning experience, Joe and I used to work on a show called Red Eye. And when I was on, there was what started as, I don't want to say a joke because I love Hoda, but what sort of started as a lark got more and more serious of Hoda, let Bill take you on a date. She became very aware of this before my sister-in-law, oddly enough, started working with her. And it got to the point where when she would go on, say, like a Mediaite, if you type in my name in Hoda, you can easily find some of this stuff. And she'd be asked whether or not she considered taking me out on a date. And then it kind of petered out, as did my career. But for a while, it was a thing. And so, yes, I love my little Egyptian princess. I am happy for her. I would prefer that she stay on air. I would say that I think that I did not know about the salary thing. I think that she is a workaholic and she likes doing it. And my prediction would be 1 week just alone with her adopted kids. She's going to think that perhaps this sabbatical is not such a hot idea. And that she will get back.
I think longer than a week.
Oh, I think a week.
I could definitely see her having her own talk show or her own.
Oh, sure. I think that's
something.
Yeah. I'm surprised that she's not sticking around for the Jenna Bush part of it, which requires a lot less news acumen and a lot more. What's the best wine to pair with, filet mignon? Segments like that. Yeah.
This is my dream job.
I don't know. I'm telling you, but I'm embarrassed. I didn't know. Is she going to stick around for that? No, I guess she's just.
I don't think so. I think she is leaving.
But
the network.
She likes to work, and she can certainly afford people to take care of the little rugrats. So
actually, wait.
Again, I believe she's single again as well. So
yeah, she is. Still shoot your shot.
There.
She said that she's going to be stepping down and transitioning into an as yet unspecified different role at NBC. So she's not completely leaving the network.
Okay.
So who knows?
So I think that her first excuse was the right one or the correct one. It wasn't necessarily the money loss. It was she wanted to spend more time with the fam.
But also it's like, if you're not going to be paying me more, I'm going to do less. I'm not going to spend 10 hours at this studio.
Although I am thinking, should you replace her and I just end up marrying her, I will be swimming in so much more cash than you could possibly imagine with whatever meager paycheck they give you at the Today Show. Compared to me being Mr. Kotb.
I'm not a very good swimmer, though, so I don't need to swim in cash. I might drown, which we don't want. Well, you might. But
you'd be like Scrooge McDuck at the beginning of DuckTales, just drowning in all your gold instead of swimming in it.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's the best reference I've ever done. I also remember that when lovely Helen Schulz was born, Hoda, very sweet, but I don't think she remembered that Jonathan and Alfred at the time were living in a very small Brooklyn apartment, got Helen a giant Snoopy doll that, as I shit you not, like about half my size, that they just felt bad getting rid of. And this giant Snoopy was just in their apartment, just in the corner there, staring at everyone, and they just couldn't get rid of it.
Do you know what's so interesting? I have often found that rich people don't give great gifts. Honestly, it's like cash or a gift card would be so great. And yet they feel this need to give the strangest stuff. And maybe that's because they're often gifting other rich people stuff. And like other rich people don't need gift cards, but us plebeians, we do.
You like that word. I've heard you say
I really do.
Yeah. I will say this. I'll tell you the name afterwards. But a mutual pal of ours who's very famous and very rich. Do you know what she always gets me? Framed photos of me and her.
Oh
Christmas
my
and
God.
birthday. I got about as many as I do baseball cards at this point. I don't know where to put them. But yes, this is a thing.
But see, that is like what I would do, but as a joke.
This is not a joke.
That is so great. Wait, do you have to put them out? Like if she's ever over?
Well, I never have guests over, so
Yeah.
wood knocking, but yeah.
Oh my gosh.
By the way, to your point, I have them underneath my couch. I would absolutely have to do that should that person come and visit. Yes.
Under your couch. Do you ever feel her staring up at your bottom?
Well, I will now. You know what? This is my rolled up into a rug issue. It's the mystery of the framed photos of said person underneath my couch.
Well, hey, if you're ever caught with them under there, a ghost did it.
Oh boy. I also recommend the Gene Wilder doc just as an excuse for us to throw up 5 Fan's amazing Young Frankenstein image that he gave us. That's on Netflix. You will definitely enjoy that. He was quite the strange and lovely individual and just absolutely hilarious. So everyone should go and see that, the documentary on Gene Wilder on Netflix.
Also, everyone should see, I think it's in theaters right now, A Different Man. I saw it at Alamo Drafthouse, which, by the way, is such a great venue.
I gotta go back there. Yes.
Also, their previews, they curate old film trailers or things that is related to the film. So this is sort of like an Elephant Man. It's about disfigurement and acting. And so they showed the trailer of Cyrano de Bergerac from back in the day, the old film. They then showed the main actor, Sebastian. He was in a music video ages ago. They showed the music video. They show the work of it. It's just so brilliantly done. But this film is so great. There's a lot of specialty makeup and effects in this film. And my friend from college, Melanie Licata, she has done a lot of award-worthy work. And so she worked on this film, and it is just really good and thought-provoking and like
What's the
wild.
name of it again?
So, what's that?
What's the name of the film again?
A Different Man. So recommend. And now for the best part of the show. We want to thank you all, whether you are listening or watching, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, YouTube for the video format. Follow us on social media at Mornin with Bill and Joe, but also on YouTube. You can become a member. You can pay a monthly amount to get some little extra perks. Definitely check out all of our past videos on there. Subscribe to us, like us, review us, whatever.
We can't thank you all enough for those that have. At some point in my life, I'd like to not have a roommate. So that would be great if you could help me out with that. Thank you, 5 Fan, as always. Thank you, E-Rock, the at-large opportunity. And stay away from dick pics, Joe.
Oh boy. Bye.
I'm sure glad that's over.
That's all for this episode of Mornin with Bill and Joanne.
I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts.
Shut up, Bill.
Subscribe to the show on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you get podcasts.
Yeah, I wasn't listening either.
Very nice, Joanne. Touche.
For videos of this and other episodes, go to @MorninBillAndJoe on YouTube.
Bill, put the sword down.
Run, Joanne, run!
Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We would do it for you. Okay, that's a lie.
I never liked your show.
Sorry, wasn't listening. See ya.